there is nothing to hate here about polygyny. Now, I can understand where some of the negativity comes from when the husband is not fair. Now, I can get why some wives are like, well, I'm really hesitant on my husband practicing. I'm not sure if he'd be fair. Then he's not the man for polygyny.
Now, let me give some introduction to these ladies that are with me right now. So, yes. Oh, here we go. Virginia in the house. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Good morning to you all. It's good evening for us as we're traveling this big, beautiful world. So, these two beautiful people next to me, tell us about yourselves. Start. You want to start first?
Okay, well, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi everybody. Assalam, peace. I'm also Fatima, but I got 2 A's in my name, so if you guys want to refer to me, you can just say Little Fatima because that's who I am. I am a digital artist. I'm also the video editor for Outstanding Personal Relationships. So if you guys have seen that really interesting ad about the Polygamy Bootcamp and you have watched that, that was me. So I dabble in video editing as well as art, and I also like to do design on the side, which is very fun for me.
Who are you related to? Awesome. Who are you?
I'm also the youngest biological daughter of Coach Nazir and over here, Coach Fatimah. So again, if you want to refer to me, you can just call me Little Fatimah.
And the bonus baby is Coach Nyla. Bam.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, it's Mike Peace. I am Rakaya. I am the second oldest daughter of Coach Fatimah and Coach Nazir. I'm also very much so behind the scenes for OPR team.
Yeah. In there and out of there. Okay. All right. Poly questions for our daughters who were not this age when their father entered polygyny. Our daughters are adults, but they remember everything pretty good. Their memories are great. So they helped me with mine. So I'm very appreciative for that. So the first question for the ladies is, how do you feel about polygyny as a whole? Like for our family and society, do you see it as a solution? Been asked, I'm gonna ask them. So you could tackle any one of those that you're comfortable with. You want to toss a coin and see who goes first?
No, you have a coin.
You can go first.
Since my mother told me that my father, Coach Nazir, was practicing polygyny, I honestly don't mind it. I would prefer it for myself since I'm just the type of person, to be completely frank, I'm just the type of person that needs her own space. I would like to laze out. I don't want to think about cooking every day. And I just simply don't see myself being a wife that is in monogamy for like 20 plus years as my parents had been for like the first 15. I'm like, this is not for me. But in regards to society, I think it's very beneficial in regards to expanding your family, and not only that, just branching out through genes and having bonus siblings, everything else. But for me personally, it's cool. I would prefer that my husband practices polygyny, and I like it for myself. I know some wives don't, and that's okay. But for me, that's what I like.
Right. I agree with what my younger sister said. I feel like it's beneficial because sometimes from what we can see, there's so many women who want to get married, and there's men who are married and they're like, oh, well, he's not available for me. But I feel like men just naturally can take on so much more responsibility when they have more women. So personally, I don't mind polygyny. When it first happened, I was like 13, so I didn't mind it either. But because I told my mom, I was like, my dad is still married to you, so he still loves you. Like if he hated you and only, wanted a second wife, then he divorced you. But so I could see where men kind of are able to take that responsibility and love more than one woman in that way. So I do think it's very beneficial. And many times when people talk about polygyny, you can see that, well, lose my train of thought, but you can, you can see that people want to limit men to just one woman, but you can see how much more they can actually take on. So I do think it's beneficial. So that's how I feel about it.
Okay, so benefit with some of it, we know that there's negativity that comes with it. And I've been asked personally as their mother, how do we deal with negativity? I know what I do when someone tries to either come for their father, me, or even my co-wife, my bonus babies too. course, my babies, just the same. So I know I go into mommy bear mode. So how would you all suggest people, or how have you dealt with negativity that has come your way? Because people have like low key asked, was I dying? Is that why their father got married again? I mean, I respect the question. However, people can tend to go to extremes. And I found out, why somebody got to die to, it just hit like that for me. So how did you guys deal with, and how do you still kind of deal with that as young adult women now with negativity when people talk about polygyny? Like, how do you, what happens?
For myself personally, I have addressed some of the negative comments in the OPR, like YouTube community or in the comment section. And the best thing that I can do is explain that it is the husband's choice. And these wives, they are consenting. They are not hostages. They are married to Coach Nazir.
Right.
They're in love. And this is just a part of their marriage. Like, this polygyny is a moral form of marriage, okay? And I think a lot of people dismiss that, like, well, it's like legal cheating, or, well, I would rather him cheat. To that I say, to each their own. There is nothing to hate here about polygyny. Now, I can understand where some of the negativity comes from when the husband is not fair. Now, I can get why some wives are like, well, I'm really hesitant on my husband practicing. I'm not sure if he'd be fair. Then he's not the man for polygyny, because you have to be twice the man for it. But for me personally, I really just try to give them that knowledge and help people understand that this is what we're doing. So there is no issue here. There is no resentment, at least from my end in regards to polygyny. So I think the best thing to do is just spread the knowledge and just link them up into something so they can understand more of our perspective in regards to polygyny.
How is it having so many siblings, and how do you guys kind of manage them all? Do you treat anyone differently?
No.
Or that came right out? No.
Yeah, when it comes to having a lot of siblings, I don't know, I just fall into my natural, I'm an older sibling role, and I'm just going to take care of y'all. And when my father had my first sibling from, my blood related sibling from Coach Nyla, it was just the same way. I didn't feel any different when he would come over and visit and be like, oh, this is the kid from the other women. I was excited. Like, I didn't feel a way about him or any of my other brothers by Coach Nyla or the bonus children. So just having a mindset of just like, I'm the older sibling, these are all like, this is like the peanut gallery I have to take care of. I don't know, I've always been that way. So I didn't feel no type of way when I first met my first brother by Coach Nyla.
And of course I feel the same way. The thing that I look forward to most when I was younger is like when I was 8 or 9, when he first Coach Nazir first practiced polygyny, was him having a child. So when we had our first,
my dad,
my father, my father,
just
to give you all clarity, my father. But I was just really excited. Like, I didn't treat him any differently. It wasn't like, oh, this is Coach Nyla's child. This is not my mom. This isn't my brother. This is my half brother. They're all my brothers. And if one of them gets a pat on the head, all of them do. If I pinch all of their cheeks, all of them are getting pinched. And I'm older sister.
Pinching a bad
Just
way,
pinching because they're cute.
Yeah.
they're all still pretty. They're pretty little. Yeah. They're like, I just love them. But basically, I treat them all the same. Nobody's being treated differently by me. You mess with them, you mess with me. So that's pretty much how I go about it.
You're going to get the tribe if you mess with any of them.
And I think it's also depending on how the parents introduce the children to each other as well. Yeah. So my mother, when the children would come over, Coach Fatimah, when the kids would come over, she wouldn't be like, oh, well, they're just like half your siblings because she's not your mom. And these are, they're not really related to you in that way. So I also think parents have a big role to play when it comes to siblings actually bonding with each other. Yes. So we never, ever had that. My dad never made a different, Coach Nazir never made a different, what's the word?
A difference?
People
never differentiated between all of us children. So
be biased.
Yeah, he wasn't biased. No. He didn't lean towards Coach Nyla's children more or lean towards us more. He treats us all the same. So if you see your parents doing a certain thing, that's kind of like, yeah, I can do this too. It's not really a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing that Coach Nyla and I kind of share together, because we do see, I believe we did film a video about treatment of children and among co-wives. And we know the value of, because you're creating their core memories. So people tend to think, oh, that's their baby and they're little. Well, they get bigger. Inshallah, God willing, they get bigger, they grow up, they remember things. So the last thing we want to do as a family is create this division by treating children differently or practicing favoritism among children. And people have tried to kind of pit Coach Nyla and I against each other and go, well, you don't have that many children and you have more, or you have less, or you have more boys and you have less girls and all this stuff. And I said, he got more than both of us. So
yeah, that's what she would say.
you know, he won that.
Yeah.
And I like to repeat that because then people don't know what to do with it, because a lot of folks want to make it about the wives. And it's almost like the husband is kind of pushed to the side and the children are pushed to the side. So you guys have some really, really great questions. And I believe that the youth need to speak on these things to give the other youth a voice, because it's so many kids that are in polygyny and they don't feel seen by anyone. Bonus children, biological children. It's just like, we're going through this as adults and forget you all. Now, is everybody like that? No, that would be extreme to say everyone is like that, nor have I met everyone. So I just wanted to put that in there because it's of great importance that in having such, even if your family is 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, and it's blended, it's important for children to know that they have a voice and that they matter. So I just had to say that. That's the mommy in you. I had to say that. So what is some advice? This is another question for you all that you would give young adults in polygyny that are trying to, that their parents are in polygyny, that are trying to, what if they don't want to give their husband, their father's subsequent wife a chance? So how would you kind of, what advice would you give others that might be your age, a little younger, about, you know, not just completely going, well, she don't matter. Because I think kids watch their mothers. So if, you know, we don't say hello or introduce ourselves at a certain point, then our children might feel as though, well, my mama don't like her, so, you know, why should I? What advice would you give youth that are trying to get to know their, you think she deserves a chance, or no, or, you know, what's like the best practice to getting to know your bonus mom?
We are also the authors of the new ebook, The Polygamy Roadmap. 2 different roadmaps, one specifically for men and the other
for women.
Naturally. So no matter where somebody is in their journey, whether they're considering it and what's required, especially men I'm talking to, I share the 5 requisites on really what it takes to build a healthy, successful polygynous family unit. So with that being said, make sure if you're a man and if you're serious, not just curious, you take action and get it today.
And in the women's polygamy roadmap, we talk about the different feelings that women might go through with emotions of fear, challenge, betrayal, jealousy.
Yes, and we give you some good insight as well as tips, anecdotes, as well as some of our stories of struggle in the polygamy roadmap too for women. And you will find out really how to have a type of confidence in yourself after reading this. I'm truly, truly in the mindset that you would anyway.
Indeed. So do what you got to do. And that means go to polygamyroadmap.com, grab your copy. We look forward to you benefiting from it and joining us in our private community. With that being said, Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.